Hi, this is Edmund making this video from my country, Asylum. I just wanted to give a quick introduction to the video which is coming up. It's a video about sidewalk counseling. And in the newsletters that we've sent out, we have talked about sidewalk counseling, made reference to some of our experiences at the abortion clinic there on 6 Mile and Greenfield. But I wanted to do this video to give you more details into how it works, what exactly we are doing when we are there, and also so that you can see that this is not a work to which one is called necessarily, but it's a fundamental act of human charity, and please be encouraged to join us when possible. Thank you. Almost from the very beginning, the problem facing history and humanity has been fragmentation. Immediately after disobeying God's command, Adam and Eve's relationship fragmented under the blow of blame and guilt. That fragmentation then spread to their offspring, as brother murdered brother. Ultimately, we find the whole human community suffering from the inability to connect, to relate, to understand each other. I don't think man's isolation can be seen any more clearly than at the abortion mill. One of the clearest reflections of the community of the triune Godhead, we know, is the Trinitarian community of the family. That community, however, is badly wounded, perhaps destroyed, at the abortuary. When the man puts the woman in the car to take her there, he tells her he didn't really intend the message of self-gift that he spoke at the moment of physical intimacy. He says he wants the incarnation of their union, the child, to be torn apart. The woman says she doesn't trust the man. She says there's no such thing as sacrifice, no such thing as love, no such thing as communion. For the woman, elective abortion is total despair. However, even at that moment of despair, even at the very door of the abortuary, miraculous moments have occurred. Moments in which a mother recognizes the reality of another soul and her connection to that soul. Moments in which a man recognizes his responsibility to the woman he has brought to that dark place. These moments are often witnessed and, in some ways, facilitated by the pro-life movement's frontline activists, sidewalk counselors. The methods used by sidewalk counselors to help bring about these moments vary from region to region and from facility to facility. Nevertheless, there are a few universals that I believe all sidewalk counselors can and should observe. Following are the general guidelines employed by the Guadalupe workers who sidewalk counsel in the Detroit metropolitan area. When I present sidewalk counseling workshops, usually I'm asked, what do you say to a woman who's going in for an abortion? Unfortunately, there's no script for sidewalk counseling. The sidewalk counselor, like St. Paul, has to be all things to all people. He must be able to adapt himself to where he is and to whom he is speaking. With that in mind, one must first realize this person isn't always a woman. The woman certainly is the one who will suffer the abortion. But sometimes it's her boyfriend or dad who is really going for the abortion. When the sidewalk counselor sees the potential customers getting out of their cars, he has to make an immediate assessment. Who really wants the abortion, and what kind of person is he? While there are several possibilities for what to say, there are many things one should not say or do. The sidewalk counselor should not trigger the woman's or couple's self-defense mechanism, meaning that the sidewalk counselor should not do or say anything that causes a woman to create a mental barrier between herself and the counselor. Bodily positioning on the sidewalk is also very important for sidewalk counselors. They shouldn't group together. Instead, as an expression of their own weakness, they should approach the woman or couple singly. To a certain extent, sidewalk counselors must abandon fears for their own safety. They shouldn't speak to anyone from a safe distance, but calmly walk right up to the man or woman. This guarantees that the counselor's voice will be as non-threatening as possible. Perhaps the most important don't do rule is that you should never talk over another sidewalk counselor. I know how tempting it is. You're convinced that what you have to say is directly from the Holy Spirit, sent by angelic express. You're full of fire, so you call it out right over another sidewalk counselor's active conversation. At that moment, the woman or boyfriend takes advantage of the slight interruption and says, I have to go back in now. The overall environment in which sidewalk counselors should work is an environment of prayer and quiet. Ideally, everyone present at the abortuary at that time should represent a single effort, directed by a single leader. Roles should be clearly defined. Finally, a sidewalk counselor should understand that when real human contact is made with a mother or a couple, and she or they have rejected the temptation to kill a child, often that moment is the beginning, not the end of the story. Invite the mother out to breakfast, take her grocery shopping, ask if you can visit her home, meet her other children. In other words, try to keep the relationship going. After all, this is what the work is about. It's about the life of the child, yes, about the health of the mother, yes, but mostly it's about relationship. The truth that no one lives in isolation. The community we share and experience on earth is a foretaste and preparation for the final perfect community of heaven.